Chelsea 2, Wolves 4. 4 at home. My football club is finished. My football club is evaporating before me. We are turning to dust. The season is done. We are not making European football, which means Pochettino is done. You had to make European football. You had to. We have to. Financially, we had to. Lawrence Stewart, Paul Winstanley, you are done. P45's for you as well. If the manager's going, you're going. Everybody out. Everybody out. You built this team. You flipped it. You fried it. You diced it. You hired the manager. You gave him the tools. He can't build the house with the tools you gave him. So you're all in trouble. You're all in trouble. We today, I'll start with today and then I'll go to the bigger picture. We today were absolutely shambolic. Our defending is honestly so shit. We were wide open against Liverpool and we're wide open today. Individual errors, always, for fun. But I have to ask, when all of these players are having individual errors, it must be systematic. You can't have this many players having all these individual errors and it not be down to the way we're set up. Why are we so open? 2v1s out wide, Akuna Matata on the left wing and Pedro Neto absolutely ripping us to shreds in the wide areas constantly. They took it in turns. Caicedo, again, in the opening parts of this game, left to die in the midfield. Then finally, Enzo was brought back to him, was brought closer to him. And no surprise, the first goal comes from us punching the ball into Gallagher with Enzo, then to Caicedo, who plays a great pass into Palmer. But that's where the fun stops, because we just defensively get absolutely annihilated. But it's not just the manager. I'm going to start giving shared responsibility to the manager and the directors, because you guys assembled this team. You guys chose these players. You guys chose to bring in all of these brothers fresh out of the Premier League in their first seasons and say that you must adapt, you must acclimatise immediately. You put the sandwich together. You chose the fillings. And it's not mathing. The maths is not mathing. You've got a manager who wants to play a high press. You've got slow centre-backs. Make that make sense. You've got an Enzo Fernandez in midfield who is a liability defensively, can be got round, can be skipped past, but you want him to track, or the manager wants him to track or deal with wide runners in wide areas. He's not going to be able to do it. So there he puts Gallagher. But then that compromises the team because Gallagher isn't good enough in that area. He's trying to build the team around a player that's just not good enough to start consistently. He's not. He's not bringing goals into the team. How has he got 0 Premier League goals when he was crashing the box and scoring at Palace? There's too much wrong here. Things are not piecing together. With what you've built, which is vastly inexperienced at the Premier League level, vastly untested at the top level, too many young players, no leadership, nobody to hang your hat on, nobody to be dependent, to be dependable, to give you output. It's just free roam. It's just hope. It's just, we wish. I wish for peace. I wish for calm at this football club. I can't get it. I couldn't buy it because we've run out of money. You've spent $1 billion to get us to this position. It is insanity for me to sit here, for people to sit here and say, oh, we need a left back. Oh, we need a striker. Oh, wingers, they're not good enough. We've only got maybe 1 or 2 wingers. What? The press, the build-up play, the defending in open play, the defending in set pieces, the misprofiling of players. It's too much to take. I'm sorry, Pochettino. It's too much to take. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. If you feel you're forced to do this because at some time you have injuries, or you feel you're forced to do this tactically because things are not making sense, the pieces are not coming together the way you wish, You can't play the high line with the slow centre-backs. You can't cover the wide areas with the Enzo Fernandez in the double pivot. You can't get the left half space cooking. You didn't play Carney today. You wanted to go Gallagher. Whatever the reason may be, I'm afraid to say you're going to have to bite the bullet. You are going to bite the bullet because these men hired you and these men are going. I promise you now, these men must go. So you will go with them. This team cannot be in this position in the Premier League. It cannot. For the second season running, heads have to roll. Heads have to roll. It cannot be in this position. For the second season running, it cannot be in this position. So heads have to roll. Consequences have to come. People have to lose their jobs. You have to. You cannot tell me at the start of the season this is what you expected. It wasn't. You expected European football. You expected to be in the upper end of the table. Financially, you have to be. So if you're not, long day. Everybody must pay. Everybody must pay. I see Thiago Silva, Bella Silva's tweeting. Thiago Silva, he doesn't want to be here. You can see it on the pitch. He's sick and tired of it. But you are one of those centre-backs that can't defend in high line, can't defend in all that space. So maybe it makes sense to part ways at this current moment. You are getting on in age. You are being asked to do more than you can. And then on top of that, tactically, if you want to press from the front, if you want to be compact from the front, if you want to push the whole team up, you need quick centre-backs. But the fact that we're in this position, we're saying we need this, we need that, just to make the team make sense, just for everything to come together. No. The captain is Chilwell. We don't have a captain on the pitch. We don't have leadership. Okay, for we need all of these things, the sporting directors must go. You must. You must leave. I'm promising you now, you must. These two sporting directors, because Pochettino has fallen. He's fallen. Whether he's not up to the level tactically or he can't put together a coherent team tactically with all the finer details, or he can't coach that attack to make it make sense, to put in those patterns of play, or he can't make this team defend in open play. He can't have this team defending on set pieces. All of these things, that's not good enough. Build up. Everything's wrong. Rough and rugged and wrong. Cool. You will pay the price. But the people that set this team up together, the people that continue to chase 21-year-olds from Brazil, the people that continue to keep chasing young players, you will pay. Because now we're in a position where, we can't afford the higher wages. We have to sell this player because we need money to come in because we spent all of this money. You may have just killed our club. You actually may have just killed our club. Single-handedly, you may have just killed our club. From the day that Tuchel was sacked, you should have had the sense to say no. Do you know what? You may not agree with what that manager is doing. You may not agree with the way he's communicating. But if you want to bring in a new manager, you need a director of football to come in first. You need a Tiki, etc. to come in first. As you see at Manchester City, as you saw with Edwards at Liverpool. You need to make sure you bring in a guy who's going to pick the manager. Chelsea have done this backwards. Chelsea have hired Potter, then they've brought in the directors, sacked Potter, and then they've brought in a manager after that. Whilst buying players under all of these regimes. You bought the players under Potter. You bought the players under Tuchel. You bought the players under Pochettino. You've bought different categories. You've bought different players at different time spans with different managers. It's insane. And then you have the audacity to compare us to Liverpool. What? In the pre-match press conference, we're nothing like them. We are nothing like them. Chelsea have got this fucking fundamentally wrong. Horribly wrong. You were too quick to press the trigger in the first place. On the manager, even if you didn't want him as a fan at the time, he was doing poorly, he was making decisions you didn't like in the transfer market, whatever your reasoning may be, you should have brought in a director of football in before you hired anyone. You had no business hiring anyone. Todd Bowie and Igbali. You had no business hiring anybody because you do not know the manager landscape like that. You do not understand football like that. The tactics, the finer things, the man management, all of these things that make up a football manager. You don't understand the importance of these things and the level of detail into these things. So you should never have hired. You should have brought someone in from an elite club to come in and run the club from the get-go. to run the show from the get-go, to pick the strategy on transfers and how to build the team and rebuild the team from the get-go. And instead, you decided to pick the manager. And from that moment, you went wrong. You picked the manager before you brought in the directors. And the directors you've brought in are not top club level directors. They are from Brighton and Monaco, and they've had experiences at Derby County, etc. Wigan Athletic, if I'm looking into Winstanley's past. These guys are building youth team. But where is the experience? Where is the quality? Where is the guarantees? It doesn't exist. They have to be sacked. But you guys financially may have fucked us because we may not even be able to get ourselves out of this hole now. We have to stick with what we've got, most likely, which means we need to find a director of football to come in, reshape this up in terms of analyze and assess what we have, what works and what doesn't, for one way, one style of football, and then find the manager to match that. Because it's very clear to me that Pochettino and Enzo Fernandez, it doesn't work. It doesn't match. It doesn't match. You want Dembele, Wanyama, Eric Dyer in the midfield. Yeah? You want that type of midfield. A little bit more physical, a little bit more rough and tumble. You want a bit more back and forth in the game, like we had in the first half. 1 minute, it's us on the attack, then it's Wolves on the attack, then it's us punch for punch, blow for blow. You want a high line to defend that space in behind, and you want to be compact and press, and you want to have these engine guys in the middle. Cool. We ain't got that. I'm afraid to tell you we ain't got that. We're not getting that. Enzo Fernandez, we're not selling him for a massive loss, and then we're going to bring in your... No, we're not going to do that. It's too late for that. So you... Unfortunately, if you can't handle the tools that you've been given, you will have to pay the price. And we will have to bring in someone that is more suited to what we have, which I believe now is possession-based football. I'm wrong. I'm sitting there saying I'm wrong. This manager has shocked me. The amount of mistakes, the amount of just errors in terms of selection, in terms of in-game management, in terms of everything, the lack of style, the lack of just everything. There's no build-up play. There's no this, there's no that. Defensively, we're awful. We're open. I'm sorry. I can't sit here and make any more excuse for it. I can't. The players, we've got quality on the bench. We've got players coming back. It's just still to be looking like this is crazy. Absolutely insane. But this board, especially, and these sporting directors, they're the constant. Over the last 18 months, when we're this bad, over the last 2 years now, it will be with us in mid-table, they are the constant. This ownership are the constant. These sporting directors over the last 18 months or the last 12 months, sorry, they will also be the constant. You guys are the constant. You guys have absolutely fucked it. You've not prepared and made a Premier League ready team. You future-proofed, in your opinion. Datro Fofana scoring goals at Burnley doesn't give me points this weekend. Angelo making key passes against PSG doesn't give me points this weekend. Do you understand? I'm not even going through the goals. I'm not going through, because it doesn't matter, guys. Bigger picture now. It doesn't matter. What happened there, the finer details, blame game, individual players, I don't care. I really don't give a shit. We conceded 4 goals. We lost the game. We were battered. They're absolutely destroyed. I don't care. We need to bring in a director of football. We need to sack these 2 sporting directors, and we need to bring in a director of football, and we need to reshuffle the hierarchy. We're not going to be able to get rid of Bowie, Egbali. Roman made them sign a 10-year commitment. That's forget that, right? It doesn't matter really, to be honest, anymore about those 2. It's about restructuring the club and getting serious, making sense, making things make sense. And that starts with the director of football. Let him come in first and assess the manager, if anything. He's probably not going to like him, but let him assess it if it's a top director of football, and let him pick the manager for the summer. There's loads of managers available. There's loads of managers coming up on the market. Let the director of football, not Winstanley, not Stewart, they're not getting another opportunity to pick another manager. Let that new guy that comes in pick the manager for the summer that suits this squad. It won't suit every player. Some of these players will have to go, but hopefully most of them can be kept. Realign the spine. You bring in certified guarantees throughout. If you have the money, you probably won't have the money, so that's another problem. But that needs to take place. That needs to take place very soon. Guys, make sure you smash up the likes, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. In a bit, people. Peace.